My name is Yolanda Banks Reed. I'm the mother of Saleem Oshai Tyndall, who was murdered January the 3rd, 2018, West Oakland, BART Station.
ABC7 has obtained video showing the chilling moments when a BART police officer shot and killed a man. Saleem Tyndall. Tyndall was in a scuffle with another man across from the West Oakland BART station when police heard shots being fired.
It was January, a cold evening, when I got the phone call that my son had been shot and killed. And it was the most horrifying time of my life that I have ever experienced. He was 28 years old, young man that was an artist, very creative, and responsible for his children. But that January the 3rd, 2018, I got myself dressed, my daughter and I, and we made our way to Oakland, California, to see if we can view my son's body, which was not allowed. But I have a view of him anyway, because he's in my sight, my heart, my mind, my soul. So not seeing his physical body was hard. Every time I think about it, and I try not to think about it because I think about the life that he had, the times that we spent and shared together, places I've taken him, the Grand Canyon, Puerto Vallarta, cruises I've taken him on, just to show him another life than the life of the streets. And giving him a choice. In life, we must have choices. We have choices. And so the story goes on that I immediately begin to protest.
A BART board meeting shut down by protests. Family and friends of a man killed by BART police took it over. They claim his death amounts to murder.
Because I knew that something had to be done. And so I began to gather people together, make signs, and go out chanting, "We want justice, yes we do. We want justice, so should you."
God shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time there for every purpose and for every work.
I had a dream, it was more into a vision, that my son was in a big building and he was at the elevator and there was a guard sitting at the desk. The guards were about 8 feet tall. And I asked him, what was he hyper and excited about, distraught about? And he said that the guard wouldn't allow him to go up on the elevator, to get on the elevator, to go up into the building. I said, well, you're not going to get him or convince him by being aggravated. I said, let me go over and talk to him. So he becked over to me, looked over and becked for me to come towards him. And I don't remember the full conversation, but I do know that he allowed me and my son to get on that elevator. And we get off the elevator onto the 8th floor. And it was 2 guards at a door. Looked like the doors of the federal building. But you could not see inside. And my son and I was holding hands. And they opened the door for us to go in. So I proceeded to walk in with my son, holding hands. And the guard put his hands up as to stop, that I couldn't go no further. And I didn't ask why, because I understood in my mind that there was a reason why. And so I looked inside and I saw different ethnicities. And they were there on the panel, sitting very high.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, if thou wilt walk in my ways, and if thou wilt keep my charge, then thou shalt also judge my house, and shalt also keep my courts. And I will give thee places to walk among these that stand by.
I could not go through the door, but my son was able to go through. And I waited at the door, outside of the door. And then my son came out of the door, and he didn't say anything to me. He picked me up, put his arms around me, and he had a big smile on his face. He got in where he needed to go, because it's a boundary between life and death. And I was still in the land of the living, and he had gone and proceeded to move forward. So I know that it was some type of judgment. I stood there as a mother would, with my family and community. And we had a trial, and then we had another trial. We went through 4 trials, and I won. Still fighting, because they wanted to appeal it. And originally the story was by the news that my son had a gun pointed at the officer, and he in return shot him. But then come to find out that he was shot in the back with his back turned 3 times in the back. But my son lives on.
Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted.
So therefore, it doesn't matter when, because I've already won. And having that experience of going to a higher level while I'm here on earth, it was relief to know that my son was smiling in the end.